Hello, welcome to this video. We're going to talk about some of the latest crimes going on. The News 12, some of them, they actually covered some of it. So it'll be, and also just other kinds of neglect. This is an image here of 2nd Street in Mineola. I like it. This picture kind of speaks 1,000 words here. There's nothing going on. There's a cat walking in the middle of the street. I don't know if you can see that. But this is what it is here in the Mid-Island, particularly the Mid-Nassau area. This is what we have to deal with as nobody wants to be here, basically, and honestly I can't blame them. So let's talk about the first story that the News 12 covered that you saw in the community post I made about New Hyde Park. And New Hyde Park, as I said, New Hyde Park is an area that's being redlined. It's going downhill, and here's proof of it because there's squatters in vacant homes. This is not something that happens in a nice neighborhood. All right, this is something that happens in a neighborhood in decline. So we're going to play the story here for you.
News 12 exclusive. Members of a New Hyde Park neighborhood say squatters have taken over a late neighbor's home.
And as News 12's Kevin Vesey reports tonight, they demanded action.
Out-of-state plates on their car, too.
We feel very stuck. We don't know what to do.
New Hyde Park residents urging the town of North Hempstead to do something after they say squatters have moved into their community. Neighbors say they're inside this home on Brussels Drive, which is partially boarded up and has a Porsche in the driveway.
We feel as neighbors,
what if that car is stolen?
Has failed us.
Community members say the squatters first arrived in August or September. The occupants have since gotten this court order to stay in the home after giving a judge this lease. But neighbors say that lease is a fake because the homeowner has been dead since 2016.
Unbelievable.
The house is in foreclosure.
They misrepresented what they had to the judge. The lease was obviously invalid.
Residents say this ring video shows the squatters trying to intimidate an elderly couple on the block. One of them was also seen apparently giving neighbors the middle finger.
Why do I have a feeling these squatters might be illegals? Why do I have a feeling? And you know that Porsche is stolen. It's got out-of-state plates on it. Probably expired registrations.
We tried speaking with the occupants today, but nobody came to the door. In a statement, a spokesperson for the town of North Hempstead wrote, "A judge recently ordered that the occupants be allowed to remain in the home, and we must comply with the law." The town attorney's office has contacted the law firm representing the bank in the foreclosure action about recent developments.
This is why I hate these banks, because, if it was on the South Shore in an enclave, this wouldn't be happening. The banks would kick them out. But they don't care because the banks, the finance, the real estate, they're all in on this. They're all in on this.
And here at Town Hall, one of the council members acknowledged tonight that something has to be done about this, calling the house an absolute disaster. Antoinette and Joe, the matter will go back before a judge next week.
And let's not forget about the incident in Woodbury that involved a squatter where some guy was raping a girl in there. This is what goes on in the Mid-Island. This is what goes on. This is what's happening. And New Hyde Park is an area that's definitely, all these towns here. Again, I got the map up just to show you all these towns here. Floral Park, where this is already gone. Jamaica, Queen, this is already gone. But Floral Park, New Hyde Park, Garden City Park, Mineola, Carl Place, Westbury, Newcastle, Hicksville, all basically in a free fall, basically, this whole area. Everybody knows it, but again, people don't want to really talk about it very much, but everybody knows about it. So there's some other crime here that's going on. Of course, there's other stuff that News 12 barely covered. Here we go again, another attack in Hicksville. Hicksville is listed like the third major crime in Hicksville now. Man struck Hicksville teen in the face with brass knuckles. Of course, they barely covered this.
Hicksville teen hit in the face with brass knuckles. His attackers still out there tonight. Take a good look at this sketch here. Police say a man who looks like this hit the teen at a Lee Avenue home, then took his phone and money. Then the guy ran off. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
So it's a robbery.
Hicksville teen.
A teen attacked. It's a robbery. He robbed him. Barely covered it. Really, they should have covered that more. So let's find Lee Avenue in Hicksville. Oh, okay. So it's southeast part of Hicksville. This area here. Which isn't the worst part, but I guess the problems are now spreading. At Bethpage, you're next. Not that far from Bethpage. So this is what goes on here. Just a lot of stuff going on. All right, so there's more here going on that they did barely covered, of course. Let's see. We'll first go with the stuff that they did cover here. Comac. That's also the middle of the island, the middle of Suffolk County, which isn't getting it as bad as Nassau, but it's starting over there, too.
Elderly woman speaking out after a herring ordeal in this Comac Target. The 72-year-old was forcibly touched in a sexual manner, police say, by this Huntington Station teenager. On your screen there, detectives say 19-year-old Michael Harrison inappropriately touched the victim while she was shopping in the store in November. He, I should say, was just arrested at his home on Saturday. Tonight, the woman tells News 12 she's infuriated.
All I did was go shopping. I mean, that's what really angers me. That how can I go into a public place like this and get molested? I'm furious about it. Absolutely furious.
Yeah, detectives are now concerned Harrison may have more victims out there.
Probably
They're asking
does.
anyone who
Probably
believes
does.
they could be a victim to call that number right there on your screen.
So, yeah, it's unbelievable. Of course, they spend... See, this is what I mean. Typical. They're on the South Shore again. Babylon or North Babylon, whatever. It's all about, that's nonsense. Who cares about that stuff? And let's go to the crime here. We'll go to the crime thing here. We'll see. That one, I think, just popped up. So here's another thing that happened in the middle of the island they barely covered. 2 alleged gang members. Planeview. Yeah, Planeview. You're next. Plainview's going to go down, too.
2 alleged gang members have been convicted of killing a Planeview man after a road rage incident. Douglas Caudry of Eastport and Kenneth Regan of Center Reach followed Justin Gottlieb home and shot him in front of his parents' Planeview home in 2020. The alleged Latin Kings gang members faced up to 40 years to life in prison when they're sentenced next month.
There you go.
The 2 are also accused of shooting and killing another driver in New Jersey just 4 days after Gottlieb's.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is the kind of stuff that happens. This is the kind of stuff that happens. You got to worry about gangs roaming around the middle of the island. It's ridiculous. Man who stole 1 sneaker from Dick's Sporting Goods. Just 1 sneaker. And then we have another one here. Another crime that they barely covered. They should be covering this more. Central Islip, again, middle of the island.
Police are searching for the person responsible for the death of a Central Islip man. Officers responded to a home on 2nd Avenue earlier this month after Marco Tulio Pineda was found dead in the backyard. Detectives say an autopsy found the 51-year-old was a, quote, victim of a homicide. We're told he worked as a flooring installer and frequently worked on businesses on Suffolk Avenue. Anyone with information...
Could be gang related. They might have actually covered this. I think they covered this a little more longer earlier on. So this is, they did actually cover this earlier on. So this is...
They've been on the scene here in Central Islip for hours, and they are still out here tonight. The large Suffolk police trailer is still out here on 2nd Avenue in Central Islip, and there's still a police officer in front of a home here on 2nd Avenue as well. We've seen police going in and out of this home as well throughout the afternoon and going wide.
So this happened, this was February 1st.
Very odd. Yeah, very odd.
Kenny Hahn says in the over 37 years he's lived on 2nd Avenue, scenes like this are rare. He says he knew something was up when his dog started barking like crazy this afternoon.
I looked out the window and I saw...
I'm not going to play the whole thing, but, they basically, it was a homicide there. This is what happens in the middle of the island. We still never heard about that person found dead in Hicksville. That never even made the news. Criminal mischief for suspected scams here in North Shore. North Shore dealing with this.
Suspected scammers. Police say the group then tried to trick an 82-year-old homeowner into paying $20,000 to fix it. He asked them to leave and called police. A short time later, police say the same group tried to pull a similar stunt in Roslyn Heights. Police say they then spotted the suspect's gold Toyota Highlander a short time later on Mineola Avenue. There was a crash, and police say 1 suspect was arrested, but 3 others ran from the scene. And take a look
again, why only 32 seconds? You should have sent a reporter for that. That's like, they barely covered that. I mean, you know, those are important stories. You should be spending more time on all this stuff. You know? Instead, no, they're all over the South Shore. Again, Gilgo, it's 1 minute and 36 seconds. I mean, I guess they're going to get called out a little bit in this. You know, it's unbelievable here. Barely covered this. Fight outside of Valley Stream. That's one area in the South Shore that's not an enclave. Valley Stream is like Freeport and Baldwin. It's not. It's basically been redlined.
Valley Stream.
It's not Lily White. So if it's not Lily White, it's going to get redlined.
Into a fight at Moon's Lounge Cafe on West Merrick Road. The fight spilled out into the street. The victims were found with stab.
Barely covered it. Really, barely covered it again. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is. There's more. There's more. We got to go back down here. There's actually more. I gotta keep going. It's annoying. I gotta keep going back here and saying. So we got here, and I'm gonna go. There's one more here that I wanted to talk about here. Yeah, here we go. Maybe I did cover this one already, but here we go. Man charged with assault after beating another man with a reamer in Newcastle.
Accused of severely beating another man. Police say
the kind
Pedro
of lovely
Hernandez
people we have in the middle
hit the man in the head and punched him in the face while holding a metal tire reamer. That's something that looks kind of like an ice pick. Detectives say it happened when the two got into a fight at the intersection of Magnolia and Prospect Avenues in Newcastle yesterday afternoon. Hernandez ran away, but was later found in a parking lot.
This is what goes on. This is what goes on. Newcastle in particular is very, very bad. So, yeah, that's the one I was looking for that I wanted to play for you. And then they have this, too. Barely covered this as well. Couple charged in selling fentanyl. Barely covered that as well. Unbelievable. Barely covered it. No reporter even sent to that. That's unbelievable. Meanwhile, they spend 1 minute and 43 seconds on Shakeapaw because they're in Lynbrook.
12's crime reporter Krista McNally was there as the trial against Shakeapaw got underway.
Lynbrook, of course.
Shakeapaw, with locations in Hicksville and Lynbrook, is being accused of selling sick puppies weeks after they were sold and resulted in customers having to pay thousands.
When you're in the live animal business,
they spend time on this, but they don't spend time on the crime. It's like they want to cover white collar crime. It's like they don't really care about. It's all geared to the snobs, you know. Basically, that's the way it is. We already know that. We already know that. But this is just some examples of what you get in the decline in the middle of the island here. That we had this happen, and I'm kind of surprised they barely covered this. This is a hate crime right here. Happened in Hewlett here.
After trying to stop a man from stealing 2 pro-Israel flags from his lawn.
This is the
Take a
guy.
look here. Police say this is the man responsible for Sunday's attack. According to court papers, the suspect blamed the Jewish people for killing Palestinians.
Making references that he was Palestinian and other statements that were threatening and biased in nature.
Bakar Labib faced a judge today on hate crime.
At least he's being held on $50,000 of bail. It doesn't say what town he's from.
And assault charges. He's being held on $50,000 bail. The Nassau DA tells us Labib came to the U.S. from North Africa last year. He has 2 addresses, a migrant shelter in Staten Island and an apartment in Queens.
So these are the kind of people that are being let in. These are exactly what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. You can thank Joe Biden for the reason that this guy is here. You can thank Eric Adams for giving him sanctuary and Kathy Hochul when he should have been deported. Or at the very least, Eric Adams could have said, we're not a sanctuary for illegals. But no, he'd rather open the door for all the illegals. So the crime from the city is spilling in to our area. It's unbelievable, it is. So lastly, let's go to this other thing, which was also not covered on the news. And actually, I'm going by a Reddit post here. Apparently, this past Sunday, I thought, getting the train at Deer Park, to go back is a good idea, but at night. But maybe not. There were a whole bunch of cops near Heartland Golf on Sunday, and according to a post, there was a fight in the parking lot that ended with gunfire. A 14-year-old boy was hit. He was expected to make a full recovery. Not sure if they ever caught the perps. This wasn't even covered, folks. This wasn't even covered. All right? So all the serious crimes going on here, all the stuff that we've covered going on, it's all in the middle. It's all mostly the middle of the island We're talking, I'll put the little red dots on the map here to show you, obviously we've got the squatters in New Hyde Park. We had the scammers in Greenvale. We've had several instances in Newcastle, as well as Hicksville as well. We've had that too. Planeview, Deer Park. It's all the middle. It's all the middle. Really is. It really is. It's all the middle. Let's go over to the arrow here. It's over here. Where's the arrow? All right. So I can move the map here. So, and again, I mean, this just, and then some of it going, so just draw a whole, this whole thing here is just gone. This whole thing here, at least to this, is gone. This whole thing. All right. And North Shore, you're next. All right. And of course the city's already, Jamaica, bunch of Queens, already gone. All right. The only safe places to leave, and also Freeport's gone, Baldwin's gone, Valley Stream's gone. So what does that leave you with? It leaves you with a few selected enclaves that are very desirable places that people are fighting with each other to get into. Like Massapequa, this whole area here, Massapequa, Merrick, Wansaw, Belmore, that whole area, Lindenhurst, Babylon, parts of Bayshore, southern part of Bayshore, Islip. These are all like very coveted areas, and the rest of the island is basically going. Of course, we know Huntington Station's also ruined too. We know that Huntington Station's gone. So it's not a good situation. It's not a good situation at all. It's not a good situation. So, what can I say? I think I've read most of the crimes for you. I think I'm trying to figure out. Let's check Daily Voice and the NCPD here. See if we have anything else in here. I can check the NCPD thing. All right, this is the coverage of the probably came from the city. This guy, unbelievable. North African asylum seeker. So there you go. He's living in a shelter. This is exactly what I mean. And this is what I mean. They're not just coming from Central America. They're coming from all over the world. They're criminals, a lot of them. We have no way of checking. We have no way to know. A box cutter attack. They didn't cover this. This happened in Uniondale. A Long Island man, a box cutter attacked. He attacked a 26-year-old with a box cutter, slashing and injuring him. February 3rd, the South Shore 12 didn't even cover this. 4 a.m., 27-year-old Roosevelt resident Gender Membro Pineda was outside of the Frontera bar. There's always things going on at that Frontera bar. 963 Nassau Road, and police say he got into a fight with a 25-year-old man. The fight turned physical, and then Pineda pulled out a box cutter and took a swing at the victim. So this is the kind of stuff going on, folks, across Long Island, and this is all happening on purpose to drive us out. Riverhead, another crime, a robbery in Riverhead. 2:30 p.m., broad daylight again. Parkway Street. This is the kind of stuff that goes on. You want to be safe. You need to fight like hell to get into the Rockville Center, Lynbrook, Wansaw, Belmore, Massapequa, Seaford, in Nassau County. You got to fight like hell to get into those communities. Otherwise you just might as well not live in Nassau County, because the rest of the county is quickly in a decline, and it's very rapid, very rapid. Let's see if I can go to the NCPD thing, and we'll see if there's anything more here. One thing that happened in Merrick here, grand larceny in Merrick. It's not that there's no crime on the South Shore, but there's less of it. There's a lot less of it. A lot less of it. This is more of a white-collar crime, too. I'm not saying it's bad, not bad, but it's more of a white-collar crime than a violent robbery. This is the robbery that happened in Hicksville, I guess, that we saw with it. It happened at 8 p.m., by the way, so not that late at night. But it's not surprising. There's nobody around. The streets are dead. There's nothing going on, and so that's what's going on. And, when you have something like this, a criminal can just do whatever they want. Nobody is going to stop them because there's nobody around. That's the thing. Whereas if you're on the South Shore and there's people around, there's less likely that things are going to happen. And this is South Shore civilization. The rest of the island is quickly being ruined. And if you can't live on the South Shore, then you might as well not live on Long Island, especially Nassau County. That's the way it is. And it comes down to me having to fight like hell to live here. And if I can't, then I'm going to have to go live in New Jersey, because the middle, there's no future for me here. The middle is becoming crime-ridden. The crime's only going to get worse. This is the Mid-Island life. This is what we get to deal with, So, and I have another video coming up showing you the neglect going on in Garden City. Garden City's also going down. Garden City, yes, Garden City is going down, all right? So, that'll be next. You probably will be up after this video. So, thank you for watching, and have a good night, and I got to get out of this place. It's really a matter of life and death, as I said in the other video. If I can't live where I need to on Long Island, then it's adios to Long Island. There's no way, no other way to put it.